Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Gary Hibner here from Heavy Tones, and in this video we're going to be doing something slightly different. I've seen some other YouTubers going back and taking a look at some of the gear that they first used to own and trying it out and see what it sounds like. And obviously this got me thinking about some of the gear that I had and brought up some nostalgia, and I wanted to find some of the gear that I used to have. Obviously I got rid of it all because I upgraded stuff and moved on to other things, but I really wish I hadn't sold some of the stuff. Now, a piece of gear that I really wanted to find was the first proper distortion pedal that I ever had. And that was this. The Boss HM-3 Hyper Metal. Now this thing really isn't that well known, it sort of passed under the radar. Obviously everyone knows the Boss Heavy Metal HM-2 that is so well known that it ran from the 80s and got discontinued in 91, and then after that in 91 they released the Metal Zone MT2, which everyone knows about. Love it or hate it, it's Boss's most famous pedal. Now this thing was released in 93 and got discontinued in 98 and really didn't get the attention that it deserved. Now let me tell you my story on how I came about finding this pedal. I had a guitar store that I used to go to that was really cool, had some really cool gear, but was in a bit of a dodgy area. There was like escort agencies around it, so when you drove there you had to be very careful where you went, but it all had all the greatest gear in there and you can go test out stuff. Everyone was super friendly, and I went there and I wanted to find a distortion pedal. So I went in there, I wanted a distortion pedal, and they gave me a whole bunch of pedals to try out. I can't remember the other ones that I tried out, but this one really stood out to me. It had a load of gain, and you could really shape the sound with the color mix. So obviously this thing wasn't easy to find. I'm a part of some local South African music groups where we talk about guitars and sort of different models that are available and what people can sell and trade. And there was a chap in there that actually reached out to me and said he's got a hyper metal. He didn't want to sell it, but he said he'd let me use it. So here we go. Let me show you this in a full mix so you can hear what it sounds like. And then after that, I'll play the guitar in isolation with this pedal so you can see what it can do if you haven't heard it before. Let's check out that full mix. Okay, so there you go. That was this pedal in the full mix. Just to punt a few things before we get into the guitar in isolation. If you like what you see on this channel, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to that channel and click on that notification bell to be notified of future videos. And also, please leave some comments on what gear you used to use back in the day. I'd love to hear what pedals you used, what amps you used, what guitars you used, and what you'd like to get your hands on again. So now let's check out that guitar in isolation. Okay, so let's tweak this pedal a bit so you can see what it's all about. On the amp side, I'm using my HX Stomp, and in HX Edit here, you can see what I'm using for the amp and the cab. For the amp, I'm using the US Princess, which is an emulation of the Fender Princeton Reverb, and then this is going into the 4x12 Uber T75, which is based off a 4x12 Bogner Uber Cab T75. And then this is the clean tone. So there's a bit of drive on that, but now let's kick in this distortion and hear what it sounds like. So these are the settings that I used for the playthrough. Now let's just make everything at noon so that we can hear the parameters at noon and then we can start tweaking it. So let's pull these up, and the level I'm going to leave set at the max. As you can hear, that's a fair bit of gain. So let me turn down this distortion knob. And then all the way up. really a good dose of gain. I'm just going to back this up to about over here and then turn down the lows. And now let's adjust the high. Okay, so that's what the harp metal sounds like. Quite an interesting pedal. I gotta say that there's a lot of gain, but it's not really that tight on the low end. It does start losing a lot of detail there, so it would be really nice if this pedal was a bit tighter. But it does what it does pretty well. Like I mentioned in the beginning, a chap in a local guitar group lent me this pedal to use. But what I didn't mention was that he also lent me some other pedals. As you can see, there's also a heavy metal HM-3 and then a Metal Zone MT2. Now, I'm definitely going to do some comparison videos where I'm going to put these pedals against each other and hear what they sound like and what all the fuss is about, obviously, with the heavy metal and all the hype around the MT2 and the love and hate around it. So that's that for this video. I'll catch you in the next one.